Welcome, Radiant Soul. A total solar eclipse in Leo, like the one that we are just about to head into, is usually talked about as the moment you finally step forward and let yourself be seen. And I understand why that framing exists, because Leo is the sign of the visible self. And an eclipse is one of the loudest things the sky ever does, so it makes a certain kind of sense to put those two things beside each other and call the whole event a summons. But I've been sitting with this one for a while now, and much like the 8-8 Lionsgate portal, it isn't landing that way for me at all. What I keep coming back to instead is that I've spent most of this last year waiting, not stuck and not necessarily lost, but actually waiting. Watching for the thing that was worth responding to, letting most of what came past me go past, and wondering more than once whether that was patience or whether I was quietly avoiding something. And what's happening for me right now, this month, is that I'm beginning to unveil work that I've been carrying this entire time. None of it is new, and that's the part that caught me off guard when I finally noticed it. I didn't build anything during the waiting. I only stopped covering it, I guess. And maybe you're somewhere in some version of that as well, where there's a direction you've been circling for a long time without moving on it, or something that you've been quietly capable of that nobody around you has actually looked at yet. So I want to say clearly what this is, because I think it changes how you receive it. If you've been with me for a while, you already know that this is not a meditation, right? This is an activation, which means energy moves while you listen, and your participation is part of what makes it work. I recorded this inside the gathering energies of this eclipse rather than in the moment of it, and that field does not expire. So whenever you found this, it's available to you exactly as it is. Which brings me to permission, because none of this happens without yours. Reiki never overrides anyone's consent, and I want that to be true here in a way that you can feel rather than a thing I just say. So if you are open to receiving, please let yourself say yes in your mind's eye now, and know that you will receive only what your system is actually ready to hold, and nothing beyond it. Beautiful. And go ahead and let yourself get comfortable. Unclench your jaw if it's holding. Let your shoulders drop back and down away from your ears. Let your hands rest open or closed, whichever feels like less effort. If you fall asleep partway through this, that is completely fine. And I mean that. The work continues without your direct conscious attention, and sometimes sleep is simply the way a body chooses to receive. Good. Now, before anything gets uncovered, we're going to go ahead and ground. And I want to be honest about why, because I think the reason matters more than the instruction. Nothing in a body opens while that body is still being braced. And if we go looking for what's underneath before you're settled, your system will do the sensible thing and hold the cover in place. So we start low and slow. Bring your attention down to the soles of your feet. And let it be a real noticing rather than just an idea. The weight there, the temperature. Whatever contact your feet are making with the floor or the bed or the chair. And from that contact, imagine roots going down, unhurried, through whatever is beneath you. Down past the noise and the wiring and the traffic of the day, into cool, dark soil that's been holding weight far longer than you've been alive. Now let the breath do some of the work. Breathe in through the nose without needing it to be deep. And then let the exhale be longer than the inhale, and let it be audible if it wants to be. A sigh is not a failure of technique. It's one of the fastest ways your body tells itself that it's allowed to stop bracing. And as you continue to breathe, we call your energy back. So much of it is out there, left in a conversation you keep replaying. In a person you are still managing from a distance. In a version of the future you've been holding up with your own two hands. We call it all home now, all of it, from wherever it's been working without you, and we let it return clean and clear. Good. Now we call in the ones who came for this, and I want you to meet all of them here at the beginning so that no present surprises you later when it draws close. First, we call in Inanna, who walked down through 7 gates and gave up something at every one of them, and who is the reason anyone knows that a descent can be survived and returned from. We call in Sekhmet, lioness, the fire that has never once asked for permission to burn. We call in Artemis, who knows the moon's own movement and who guards the part of a person that belongs to no one. We call in Archangel Chamuel, who tends the heart from behind where nobody thinks to look. And we call the Oversoul of Araya, the field of divine remembrance and sacred support, present here as the reminder that you have never had to earn what is already yours by nature. We invoke them with reverence and with clear consent, and we ask that everything that happens here happen in accordance with your own highest good and your own free will. I want to explain something before we work with it, because I've come to believe the explaining is half of what makes the work land. There's a part of the sun called the corona. It's the sun's outermost atmosphere, and it's enormous, far larger than the bright disk we think of as the sun. And interestingly, it's hotter than the surface beneath it by an amount that physicists still argue about. It is there right now, and it has been there every second of your life. And you have never seen it. And neither have I, because the disk in front of it is simply too bright to look past. The only way a human being has ever seen the corona with their own eyes is when something moves in front of the sun and covers it. That's what a total solar eclipse is. Not the sun becoming more, but the sun's most familiar face being gently covered, so what was always burning behind it can finally be looked at. And this is why I don't think this eclipse is asking anyone to shine harder. I think it's doing something subtractive. It's taking away the part of you that you're used to being seen for, just briefly and without harm, so that the rest of you becomes visible. And the chart says the same thing if you read it, right? This eclipse sits on the releasing point of the moon's path. The node astrologers have always associated with what is being completed rather than what is being started. So the sky is not describing a launch here, it's describing an uncovering. And there's something else in the mechanics that I find steadying. An eclipse only happens because two bodies moving at completely different speeds arrive at the same degree of the sky at the same time. Nobody wills that. Nobody hurries it. You can't be early to an eclipse and you can't be late to one, because it's not a matter of effort, it's a matter of orbit. Which makes me think the year some of us have spent waiting was never a stall. It was travel we couldn't see at the speed the thing actually moves. So it's in this place where the work begins. Go ahead and bring your attention to the back of the body, not the front. The front is the part that's been doing the presenting, the part that faces the room and answers the questions. Come around behind. The back of your ribs, the space between your shoulder blades, and then in behind your sternum to the back surface of your heart. That surface has been burning this whole time, and no one's looked at it, including you. I'm going to send Reiki there now. You don't have to do anything except let the back of your body soften and be witnessed. And as it warms, let the front of you be covered. Not removed, not judged, not lost. Just set down for a few minutes, the way the moon sets a disk down over the sun without damaging it at all. The version of you people already know how to look at can rest right now. Here's the part of the astronomy that undoes me a little. For all but a couple of minutes of this whole event, you cannot look at an eclipse. You need a filter. You need protection, and looking at it directly will injure you. And then totality arrives. And for that short window, and only that window, a person can lower the filter and look straight at it with their own bare eyes. The only moment it's safe to look directly at it is the moment it's covered. Now, I sat with that for a long while because my first instinct was that it was just a nice coincidence of physics. But I don't think it is this time around. I think being seen and being able to look are the same muscle. And I think that muscle has been guarded in a lot of us for a very long time. And I think this is the window where it finally gets to relax. So bring your attention up now, gently to your face, to the bones around your eyes, the ridge above, the ledges beneath, let the small muscles at the outer corners let go. Let your eyelids get heavy without forcing them anywhere. And let your attention travel back behind the eyes into that deep, quiet space in the middle of your head where seeing actually happens. There's one more thing about the geometry I love, and I'll say it simply. The covering fits almost exactly. The moon is barely large enough in our sky to do this at all, and the sun is just at the right distance to allow it, and the whole thing works by the narrowest of margins, which means the covering is not forceful. It is not an eclipse of domination. It's precise, and it's temporary, and it's measured to the smallest amount that would work. Whatever is being set down in you this month is being set down that carefully. Let Sekhmet's fire come in now, into the back of the heart, and up the back of the neck, and then out through the eyes. Not as heat you have to manage, but as the recognition that the burning was never something you had to start. Then the light comes back. This is the part I want you to have. When totality ends, the corona becomes invisible again. It doesn't leave. It doesn't diminish or abandon. It simply goes back to being outshone by the disk in front of it, the way it has been for your entire life. And that's not a loss because you saw it. You know what is back there now, and nobody can unsee it for you. So you don't have to sustain this. You don't have to walk out of this recording and reorganize your whole life around what just became visible. And I would rather you didn't, because that kind of urgency is how people abandon a real thing in 3 weeks, rather than following it through. What I think is actually being offered is smaller and more durable. Permission to begin moving toward it at whatever speed your nervous system can genuinely hold. Let that be true in your body now. Let the light come back to the front of you. Let it shine on your face, the one that everyone else has been seeing. And let it come back knowing what's behind it. And let all of this settle into the physical, into blood and bone, and the spaces between cells, into the wiring that will still be carrying it tomorrow when you're not thinking about any of this. Good. We ground it now, all the way down. Let your attention travel back down the length of you. Out of the head, down through the throat, and the chest, through the belly, into the hips, down the legs, and back into the soles of your feet and those roots that are still holding in the dark, cool soil below. Beautiful. We thank Inanna, who came back up. We thank Sekhmet and Artemis and Chamuel and the Oversoul of Araya for what was given here freely and without cost. And we release them with gratitude, leaving only what is yours to keep. And I want to say this before you go. If you fell asleep somewhere in the middle of this, nothing was missed. Your body took it the way it wanted to take it, and that was absolutely the right way. Now, whenever you're ready, And there's no rush at all. Let the breath deepen a little. Let some small movement come back into your fingers. And take your time just coming back. And just know whenever you return to this, it will meet you somewhere new because you will be somewhere new. That's how these work. And attunement works the same way. So when I attune someone to Reiki, I'm not installing an ability they lacked. I'm permanently widening the channel that energy was already moving through. It's the corona made structural, and I'm opening Reiki 1 again on this eclipse as a real lineage-based Usui Shiki Ryoho training. It's 10 weeks rather than a weekend, with the attunements spaced across Saturdays because, in my personal experience, a nervous system does not integrate on a schedule that suits a calendar. And across 2 days can be a bit much. Reiki 2 will be following on the harvest moon in September, and you can walk one, the other, or the whole arc with me. And Inanna's 7 gates, the descent and the return, are the structure of my Temple of Mysteries membership, which is a living mystery school where the work is walked slowly and with company. There's no cohort and no start date because that one isn't really built around a moment. It's built around what you're going through at any particular time. Both links are in the description below. And if neither door feels steady in your body when you consider it, that's your answer, and it's a clean one, and you already have what you came for in this activation. Thank you for receiving, Radiant Soul. As a reminder, it's yours by nature, not negotiation.